left, you can look right, you can look left. I also go around to every school in the city of Sacramento and I check on their traffic plan, and I have to say, Westlake Charters is the best one that I've been to.
Greetings, explorers! I'm here with Officer Bell and Officer Johnson from the Sacramento Police Department, and we are so grateful that you two have come here today to talk with us about our Pedestrian Safety Week here at Westlake Charter School. Explorers, we have an opportunity to speak with our friends from the Sacramento Police Department and ask a few questions about pedestrian safety. Let's ask Officer Bell. Officer Bell, what does it mean to be a safe pedestrian around school or anywhere you might be walking?
Hi Explorers, I'm Officer Bell with the Sacramento Police Department. To be a safe pedestrian around this school or anywhere you may be means that you always need to think safety first. Remember, when cars and pedestrians meet in the street, pedestrians always lose. I've seen dozens of very hurt children who have been hit by cars because they weren't thinking safety first. Not only do you have to remember safety, but you have to know all the rules and laws pertaining to pedestrians. Also, you also have to think to yourself that the drivers in the cars around you can't see you. Make sure you always make good eye contact with the driver of a car before you enter any crosswalk or roadway. Speaking of crosswalks, always use them if you can see one. Drivers look for people there when they get near crosswalks. If you cross mid-block between two crosswalks, the driver's not expecting you there, so you might get hit. In closing, always think to yourself, drivers can't see me, so maybe I should get eye contact and use the crosswalk at all times.
Thank you, Officer Bell. Explorers, we'd like to thank Officer Bell for being here, but now we have a question for Officer Johnson. Officer Johnson, what is the safe way to use the crosswalk? And maybe explain, when we should yield to a driver.
First of all, you should always cross at designated crosswalks. Typically, crosswalks are intersections with other streets or mid-block in high foot traffic areas. If there is a signal, wait for the walk signal to cross the street. Before crossing the street, stop, look, and listen, and get eye contact with drivers of approaching vehicles. For example, when you are leaving the school onto Maybrook, leaving the gate by the playground, stop at the crosswalk. Make eye contact with the drivers before you enter the crosswalk. Pedestrians may not suddenly leave the curb to enter the crosswalk into the path of a moving vehicle that is so close that it causes a hazard. Pedestrians must yield the right of way when crossing when there is no crosswalk or an unmarked crosswalk.
Thank you, Officer Johnson. Explorers, it is fantastic having Officer Johnson and Officer Bell here. But before we wrap up, gentlemen, is there anything else you'd like us to know about pedestrian safety?
Your school has worked very hard to create a safe environment for you around the school. Westlake also went to great lengths to create the pledge sheet for you with very good information on it to ensure your safety. Always look left, right, left at crosswalks or when crossing any street. Always get eye contact with drivers of vehicles. If your parents want you to cross outside of the crosswalk, remind them that you cannot do that. Don't run near or around moving or parked cars. Have your parents find a safe place to drop you off away from the campus and walk in safely. For all you 8th, 7th, and 6th graders, you can walk a few blocks to school. I've done it. Doing this will help keep the area around the school safe due to fewer cars in the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Bell. Explorers, we have to thank the Sacramento Police Department for being out here today. So let's recap the things we covered today. Always use the crosswalks. Always make eye contact with our drivers. Be on the lookout for drivers while we're crossing the street. And remember to go over that pledge with your parents. We gave you that pledge this week, and we're collecting your signed pledges. And we're making a big pledge wall, and we'll make sure we send out a picture for everyone to see in the entire community how many explorers committed to pedestrian safety. Hey, Officer Bell, thank you, sir. Officer Johnson, thank you. We hope you come back out and see how well our streets look after our pedestrian campaign wraps up. All right, thanks a lot, explorers. And as always, let's explore!